Welcome to my video series on Confessions by St. Augustine. Now, this is an interesting video because I have written down some essential quotes, and you'll see the title of this video is about St. Augustine's view on babies, and particularly why babies are sinners according to the great saint and doctor of the Catholic Church. So, I'm going to go through some of these quotes and I'm just going to talk about them. I'm just going to riff and improvise. So, number 1. When I was not presently obeyed, then I was indignant with my elders for not submitting to me, with those owing me no service for not serving me, and avenged myself on them by tears. He's talking about himself as a baby, as a helpless baby infant, newborn. And he's guilting himself. He's saying, oh, how dare I expect service from them when they didn't owe me anything, and yet I cried and I screamed at them as if they had some kind of obligation to serve me. Even though... So he's basically saying babies are demanding. I feel that there's a guilt tripping going on. And most of all, I feel that he is ascribing adult characteristics to a baby. There's a word called anthropomorphism, and besides being incredibly fun to say, it basically means attributing human characteristics to an animal. If you watch The Lion King, one of the best animated films of all time, you'll see Simba. They talk. Human characteristics given to an animal. Well, he's human-pomorphizing, not a word, just made that up, babies. He's saying that these babies should be like 20-year-olds who have morals, who have volition, who have a will of their own, and are old enough to be what I like to say moral agency. They have moral agency. And Augustine is writing from the perspective that babies do have moral agency when they really don't. He also writes, in thy sight, God's sight, none is pure from sin, not even the infant whose life is but a day upon the earth. Doctrine of original sin here, he is one of the leading proponents, one of the leading founders of original sin, that Eve was tempted by the serpent, ate the forbidden fruit, and everything went downhill from there, and therefore every baby that's born is a byproduct of this original sin of Adam and Eve eating the forbidden fruit in the Garden of Eden. So, as a baby, you have no say, unless you're some kind of metaphysical New Ager belief system. You don't choose to be brought into this world. That is not your choice at all. That is your parents' choice. And you are born with a set of actions and a set of frameworks that are a part of being human. And I don't see any point in calling someone a sinner when they're just born, just by the fact of being born. You wouldn't guilt trip a lion for being a carnivore because they're literally just born and they have no say in the matter. You know, mama lion and papa lion reproduced, created a baby lion. The baby lion has to kill the gazelle in order to survive. Are you going to guilt trip that lion? Are you going to guilt trip that lion to its face? The weakness, then, of infant limbs, not its will, is its innocence. And yes, I'll agree with that. Perhaps babies, if they were bigger and stronger, they could be like, you give me milk, and then punch you, and then you'll get knocked out. 25-year-old baby. But I agree with that sentiment. Babies are not like, I agree that babies are not all good. They're very selfish creatures, but I'm saying that they're not sinners for just doing what's in their nature. That's my basic point here in this video. He also says, myself have seen and known even a baby envious. It could not speak, yet it turned pale and looked bitterly on its foster brother. Again, attributing moral agency to a baby. Yes, babies can get jealous too. We are born with that. Now, I wonder, the better question is, what reason has evolution given us for jealousy? I'd like to think of it from a positive perspective. When we get jealous of someone, it can propel us forward to become more like them. That's the most positive way, rather than saying, oh, they suck because they have something that I want. No, you take that jealousy and you transmute it into beauty. You do it because that's the best way to live. And that's the greatest chance statistically that you'll get what it is that you want. So perhaps that is why biologically we have jealousy. And finally, he says, we bear gently with all this, not as being no or slight evils, but because they will disappear as years increase. For though tolerated now, the very same tempers are utterly intolerable when found in riper years. Well, yes, a baby is different from an adolescent. An adolescent is different from a full-blown adult. There are certain characteristics and behaviors that we accept from each age group. And if you retain characteristics of youth into your adulthood, that is called neoteny. And that is unpleasant. It generally means you've skipped a stage of development. And I think that all human beings in society today, especially 21st century, have some form of this. We're like little babies in adult bodies. And we're trying to mature. So we'll see you with the next St. Augustine Confessions video as we dive deeper into this autobiography.